Hey guys, I see a couple people are joining me already. I didn't know if anybody would get notified this quickly. Who's on here with me? Got to grab some tape. I'll be right back. Who joined me? You guys are being quiet. It's going to be a busy month, guys. Got lots to do, lots to do, lots to do. The people that are on here are being quiet. Who's on with me? Oh, got another one. Who's on here with me? Probably a good thing I put those curtains up. I was doing it for the intro picture for this because I usually put up, you know, my standard image, and today I decided not to. I'm glad I left that up there because the dog, she sees stuff. You know how it is. She sees stuff, and then she just goes berserk. So I'm glad I left that up there. I was going to take it back down. Hey, Nita, how are you, girl? Hey, hey. Man, you got the hubby doing the embroidery. I'm impressed. He's doing a really good job. I saw his post with the hats. Wow, that was amazing. He's a natural. I think you can put him to work. Who else is on? I see we got a few more people come on. Hey, Michelle. Hey, hey. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some market prep. So, hey. Yeah, there's no reason why he can't, Nita. I mean, if he can do those hats, yeah, the blankets will be super easy. Oh, I bet he'd enjoy making them too, especially if it has some of his designs on them. Oh my goodness. That's so awesome. And I bet he's like, hey, whole new world now. Hey, Adiani. Hey, girl, are you off now or are you just sneaking in for a couple of minutes? Oh, and I saw your picture. Oh my gosh, I love what you did with your hair. It's so beautiful. I almost didn't recognize you at first because I've never seen you when you highlighted that strip. It's gorgeous. Looks so good. Hey, Nero. Hey. Yeah, I just found out. I applied to, I decided I'm going to start doing some farmers markets. And I applied to one just up the road from me. It's in a really cool area. And it's it was a jury one, and they have a lot of kids activities, and they have live music and scavenger hunt, back to school stuff, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, I want to get into this one so bad. And I got in. I'm so excited. It's the weekend, it's Saturday, the 14th of August. And so I'm glad I got a month. I already, oh, okay. That's all right, Eddie. I'm glad you're just waking up. Yeah, you'll get to spend a little time with us. So, yeah, I think they do it every month, and I'm not sure if it's over the winter as well. That we usually do down here, but we'll see. But if I like it, I'm going to do it every month. I have to get my canopy. I don't have that. I'm redoing a lot of my displays from when I used to do craft shows and stuff. I have a ton up here. As you can tell, I've got trunks, and then I can take I don't know if they're, oh, you don't see them. I've got some wooden boxes that I made out of slat flooring, real old wood slat flooring. And Sierra, so I've got some boxes there. I might even be able to take like some of these inserts here and just kind of really, so I'm like, hey, Nancy. So I'm like so stoked. And then my whole thought process came to me today, guys. So I'm want to make a real big push at these farmers markets because there's a lot of opportunity for me to do a lot of things I can't do online. So I can do like sample sales. I can do a lot of small one-off, two-off items, you know, and just kind of make sets out of them and stuff. Things that it's not really worth doing online because maybe you want to keep a lower price point. So I've got this whole marketing scheme kind of figured out that I want to try. And I think it's going to work just from all the craft shows I've done. I think it should work. And I'll let you guys know how it does. And if it works really well, I'll give you all the tips and tricks and tell you what I did. But it came to me in the last 24 hours because I just found out, I think it was Friday morning that I got in. I applied like a week ago and it took them a week. But yeah, they go to your website, they check out your website, they, you know, make sure that your stuff works with them. So, oh my gosh, I am so stoked. So I ordered, I have to order that yet, but I ordered, I got a PayPal, Zelle. I think it's Zelle. No, it's not Zelle. It's, what do they call it? It's a new thing that they do for taking payments. It's Zeddy maybe it's Zeddy. And yeah, Zettel. It's Zettel. That's why I couldn't remember. It's a combination of the two. And if you don't already have this PayPal, okay, so I checked PayPal against Square, and I have both. Square is 2.6% and 10 cents a transaction. Zettel on PayPal is 2.29% and 9 cents a transaction. Square, if you want to get the chip reader, it's $49. Zettel, if you haven't signed up with them yet, you get the nice little thing with the buttons and it takes the chips and everything, $29 on sale. It was like, well, I'm not even having to think twice about this. They've got Square beat all the way. And I've been using PayPal forever and a day. And I've used Square. Don't get me wrong. I've used Square. I love Square. Square's super easy to use. But when it comes down to the differences in the prices, you can't even touch it. You just, yeah. So I'm so excited, guys. I'll do some videos from there for sure. Every time I go to market, I'm going to definitely do some videos, whether I do lives. I don't know. I got to play it out and see. If it's super busy, I'm not going to be able to really go live. I might do some shorts, real quick live shorts like Tasha does, where she does, you know, like 5-10 minutes or so. Possibly need. I've never used Etsy. You guys know my feelings about the Etsy payment thing. So I stay away from that. I just, and that's just a personal thing. So don't you know, if you guys love Etsy, go for it. I just, after being with them for as long as I've been with them, and then when they did what they did to us on the payment thing, I've still got heartburn on that one. So yeah, I do everything I can not to use them. So yeah. Now the card reader that I got for Square, see, I already signed up, Barb. I signed up years ago. And the card reader that I have from those guys does not fit the new iPhones because it's got the old connection at the bottom. So I would have to pay for it no matter who I go through. And I had not signed up for PayPal taking. I'd always done the PayPal, you know, through the vending online and stuff, but not in person. So I was eligible to get $50 off of their device. So I did that. So yeah, if any of you guys haven't signed up for Square or anything and you go sign up, then yeah, you get that for free, but you're paying more per transaction. Just remember that. It's not a lot, but it will add up. So if you were to do the difference, it's about 0.31% plus a penny per transaction. So if you were to do, say, $1,000 in sales, take that times 0.31 and then kind of estimate how many sales you would do. So I just kind of did like, so what if I have $15 per sale and in 1,000, it'd be like 67 sales. So that's 67 cents. And then I need to take the 0.31 times $1,000. So I'm getting into, I don't remember how much it was. I'm getting into enough money that it makes a difference. You know, when it starts getting up to a couple of dollars, I start paying attention because every couple of dollars counts when you're as small scale as we are. So I just did that. Oh, I can probably get an adapter, Barb. Yeah. That's a swipe. Most people have chip. The chip works really, really well, and it's more secure as a vendor. So for the 29 bucks, I'm going to secure myself and make sure that if anybody's pulling something, I'm eliminating as much as I can. So that's the whole thing. Oh, it's not Zelle. I was trying to come up with the name. It was Zettle. 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 It's through PayPal. So yeah, Zelle may. I don't know. I never checked Zelle now. So yeah, you can probably go look them up and see. I didn't even think about looking at Zelle. But anyway, so yeah, I hope it doesn't rain. I got to think about that. Hope it doesn't rain. So anyways, I came up with this whole marketing thought just kind of came to me this morning, actually. It just kind of completely unfolded. I started writing it all out. And I'm like, you know, this might work. This just might work. Because I'm out there also to take over kind of this little area that's in San Antonio. And there's not a whole lot of hands-on, I guess, small baby stores like this around that are not bigger boutiques, I guess. You know, the price point for rent around here is pretty high. So everything's online. And I don't know how many people really are online right in this area. I'm sure there's some. I'm sure there's a handful. I don't know how many really go do the in-person thing. So I'm kind of hoping not many. And that sometimes is a leg up just right there as well. But I will let you guys know if my marketing ideas worked. And if so, I will do a video and I'll share you guys, but I want to test it out. I want to test my theory and see. Since if I hadn't done craft shows before, I probably wouldn't have come up with this quite as quickly as I did. I mean, I've done craft shows 10, 15 years. And that wasn't just recently. That was like, you know, with my sister when I was back home, we did them. And I did, well, man, we did fall and spring. So I would do 3 or 4 in the fall, probably 2 in the spring. So yeah, we've done a lot of different things. So yeah, I'm thrilled. So, and I got my sublimation printer today. it was delivered. It was supposed to get here yesterday, then it was a day late. I don't care. My ink's not going to probably be here till tomorrow. So I got everything else. And so I'll be playing with that as well. Came up with some ideas on that too. And I mostly for tags right now is what I'm going to use it for. I do have some other ideas for some things, but those are not necessarily hot buttons right now. I need to get tags done. Oh, and the other thing I'm going to try and do, and if this works out, is make my own banner, sublimate my own banner. So I bought some fabric yesterday to do that with, and I'm playing around with some things. Hey, Shayna, playing around with some thoughts in my head before I really move forward with it. So I've got enough fabric, and I can go get more if I have to, but I got enough fabric, I think, to screw it up twice and get it right the third time. So you know how that goes. But the screwing up more is going to be trying to figure out how to do my logo on an 8.5 by 11 when I want it big. And I have some really good ideas on how I'm going to try it. Granted, I've not sublimated before, but I've watched enough videos. I think first time out of the gate, I'm going to try this thought and either see that it's successful or put it to bed right away and move on. So yeah, so if that's the case, and it works, I'm hoping I can do a banner for under $30 and a big one. So I'm hoping. Hey, Patty. Hey, Leslie. So I'm hoping it works, because I don't want to go spend any money on a banner, and nobody else does. I know that too. I know they're expensive. And if you're only going to use them periodically, and then they're going to be in storage, I mean, yeah, I can put it up on my wall, and I will. I'll put it up on my wall and put it up there. But, to actually use it for the reason why I made it, it's only going to get used maybe once a month. There's plenty of farmers markets around here. I could do 2 a month if I decide to. A lot of work, though. So I'm staying to 1 right now. So yeah, it'll be, that's a big project. It's going to be an exciting couple of weeks. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get my patterns kind of all cut out and start doing some of that. So that's what we're doing today, is we're just going to chat farmers markets. We're going to chat about things for that. The only thing that kind of worries me is what if we get shut down again? So 1 month at a time. And if we do get shut down again, then, well, I'll have learned some things. Hey, Sarah. And hey, Marissa. And then we'll save it for when we can do it again. So I'm really hoping it doesn't happen. But I was talking to a friend of mine who lives out in California. And it may be happening because LA County, because my aunt's out there anyway, and my cousins are out there, they're requiring masks inside as of last night again, because the numbers are going up. So they had opened up, wasn't requiring it, and now they are again. And so, let's see. Yeah, everyone is here, aren't they, Shanna? Yeah, I'm trying some different times. I just took a luxury nap, was totally awake, ready to start working, and I'm like, I'm just going to go on. I'm just coming on. I am ready. I am ready to go, and I'm just going to come on and start working. And if we work a couple extra, if I stay on a couple extra hours longer, so be it. Let's see how the night goes. And Ediani, I thought about you the minute I came through on this farmer's market. I thought all about you and when you did that one in Houston. So I kind of smiled thinking about that. But I've got my product list up in my head. Actually, I've got it on my phone. Me and my phone are like big buds when it comes to making lists. I don't know if anybody else does that, but when I'm anywhere and everybody's got that note app, doesn't matter whether you're Android or Apple, you've got a note app. And I use that thing like crazy. So whenever I'm out and about and I think of something, then I just open my app and I've got several different, kind of like if you want to call them folders, that I keep stuff in. And I just find it, either create a new note or not. And my shopping list is in there for everything, whether it's groceries or the business or personal. So I always have my list. I'm always adding to my list. And then if I'm out shopping, I know I've always got my list because I'm notorious. I don't know about you guys, but I'm notorious for writing lists, leaving the list at home and going shopping without it. And it's like, well, yeah, that was helpful. So I've learned, put it on your phone and you won't ever have that problem. So those of you that did not see, I'm going to do a shout out for Mia. Her new fabric line is going live at midnight tonight for pre-order. And it's gorgeous. If you guys did not see her video the other day that she did, you can go to YouTube and see it, where she showed us all the fabrics that she is going to be pre-ordering for us and all the details about it. So anyway, it's going to be exciting. I'm so excited for her, for us. Yeah, it's good. It's real good. So go check her out, guys. And her website is going to be fabricbomb.com. How easy is that to remember? Nice and catchy little name there. Hi there, Bear. He's behind the scenes. Hey, Yvette. Yeah, Ediani, that's it. You know, you've got to do one to really know where you either weren't ready or were ready. And, you know, you can give people all the information they want. They've just got to go do one. You just do. You know, you're going to get there and you're not going to remember or know that you needed X, Y, and Z. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. And you get through it. You get through the first one or two. Most vendors around you are very helpful. So if you've forgotten something, they share. Unless it's like your card reader for your taking payment, then they can't share. But, you know, other than that, you know, everybody's always really nice and they help each other out. So it's really good. Ready? Hey, I was just talking about you. Good job on those hats. Oh my gosh, you're a natural, man. You're a natural. You and Nita are going to be embroidering everything here in the world. So good. So good. Hey, Mary. Yeah, happy Sunday to everybody. I cannot even tell you just how regenerated I feel after that little nap that I took. So you guys have regenerated me. And I'm stuck. Okay, every time I'm drinking something, right? Every time it's always something new. Well, what's my drink of this week? So I've been making my own lemonades. And I can't get enough of it. You know, I just take ice in a cup and water, and then I throw in the lemon juice and then your choice of sweetener, whether you like real sweetener or artificial, whatever, and lots of ice. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's like so hot out and I suck those down so fast. And since I'm using artificial sweetener, I can kind of control how much I put in there. And so sometimes I keep it more lemon water than sweet water. And even that is super good. Oh, that's okay, Reddy. It didn't look like it took 2 hours though. It was gorgeous. Those hats were amazing. There's a lot going on those designs too. They're pretty dense. They're gorgeous. Yeah, either real lemon or lime. One of the two. You can do the same. Absolutely. Because I even thought about that. I was like, if I get tired of the lemon, I'll start doing some limeades. I wish they had grapefruit, like a concentrated, like pink grapefruit juice that I could do the same thing with. Oh, I love grapefruit. Love grapefruit juice. I think it would be really amazing. So yeah, I couldn't believe it. So the sublimation printer, man, those are sold out everywhere, guys, unless you want like the real deal sublimation printer. And since I was using mine right now mainly for tags and things like that, I didn't want to spend the money on like a real sublimation printer that is strictly made for sublimation. And so I was like, no, I'm just going to try and get one of those Epson Eco Tanks. Well, everywhere they were sold out. And you could go on a wait list and they'll let you know, but the wait list could be months, 6 months, who knows? And oh, lemon has grapefruit and orange. Okay, I'm going to go look that up, Michelle. Thanks. So the first one that I had ordered in May, or June, it was June, the store refunded my money about 2 weeks ago and sent me a really nice explanation saying they just found out that that model was discontinued. So they probably got their order canceled as well, because they had ordered a whole bunch of them in May and they were waiting for them to come in. And I'd called him actually and talked to him, and he said, yeah, when we get them in, you just go ahead and order online, and when we get them in, we'll ship it out to you. So they'd taken my money, and so he was fully expecting to get them. And so he must have gotten the email saying, nope, sorry, discontinued, and refunded him, because then he turned around and refunded me real quick. So that was okay. I was all right with that. And so I thought, okay, I'll just go find a different one. And I spent all week because the prices were insane because they're hard to get. People are, out obviously putting a price on this because of it. So I shopped and shopped and shopped and shopped. And I knew how much they should be because I was seeing that price everywhere for when they weren't available. And then the ones that I was finding that were available were like 3 times that price. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I found one, and it came to me in 5 days. I was so excited. So yeah, I was just shocked that I got it. So I was like, nah, I'm going to hold off to order my ink and everything just in case this happens again, because I don't want to sit on ink and then not have a printer. So when it shipped actually that day. So I got a tracking number and the whole bit. And I was like, okay, these guys they're not going to refund my money. So then I went ahead and ordered everything. And sorry, I forgot I laid something there, and Bear Bear was trying to lay on it. Sweet little boy. He's not stupid. He knows when something's soft. So yeah, it's upstairs. I just got to get my ink, and I think the ink's actually going to be here tomorrow. When they shipped it, they were predicting Tuesday, but it's already in San Antonio, and it was just coming from Georgia, so it's already in San Antonio. So it could still be Tuesday by the time it gets to my local post office, but San Antonio is only up the road, not too far. But I've also shipped something from here, and this was a long time ago. I know what you're looking at, buddy. Sorry, I just turned around. He's like staring off into space at something. Like when a cat, sorry, off topic here. When a cat is very just chill, and then all of a sudden they start staring at something on the wall or the ceiling, I've learned, especially down here, you look, because it's probably a bug, and it's not a good bug. So he was staring, and I'm like, okay, what is it? What is it? Because I don't get bugs in here usually. So anyway, so I shipped a pair of mocks. Oh, this is a couple years ago. And I took them. There's only like 1 or 2 post offices around me that is reputable. The others are kind of, you stay away from them. Things get lost, things don't make it anywhere. And so I have one or two that I know always ship. And I've never had an issue till this time. It took it a week to go 30 miles. I was like, are you kidding me? There was no reason for it. So I was just like, okay, somebody overlooked it. I'm just going to breathe through this one. But that I did have one little hiccup. So don't get too comfortable with post office. Yeah, Mary, those were really cool. Really, really cool. Loved it. The Minky pillowcase was a great idea. Loved it. I'm sure, you're never going to be able to get those off their pillows to wash it unless it's like during the day. Michelle, maybe broken. It's so funny. Now I've learned other places I've lived down here, when my cat was staring at something, it was usually a scorpion was on the wall. And it was one specific cat of mine. She's very observant, but yet she's also pretty chill for the most part. But she doesn't just stare at things, and instantly she would like get up and go and just sit somewhere and look either up or down. And the minute she does that, I'm like, uh-oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know, but I got to go find out real quick in case it's something that could hurt her, because it's a bug. And we got some bugs down here that are not good for animals. So yeah, thankfully scorpions don't affect cats if they get stung, because my girl did. She batted at it at my other location. Hey buddy, don't play with the camera. He's over here batting at the camera. And she stung her paw, and I called the vet right away. And the vet's like, yeah, scorpion stings don't usually bother cats. They're usually okay. But just watch the paw, if it swells, let us know. And it didn't. She was fine. I'm sure it hurt. But yeah, so that was good to know that, hey buddy, you're having all kinds of problems over there. He's like a klutz, he's so funny. You give him the entire room to get around something, and I guarantee he's going to wrap whatever is the one thing on the floor 10 feet away from him. He's going to wrap it around him. He's such a klutz. It's a good thing you're cute, huh? Yeah, Michelle, the only one that we really have to be careful about down here is a spider. There is a spider, but they're up north too. And then we do have a millipede down here that supposedly I've heard that even dead, they're so poisonous to animals that if the animal gets a hold of it and eats it or something, it could kill them. So, and I know that for a human, the sting's pretty bad. I don't know that it would kill us, but I don't know that it wouldn't either. If you have an immune system maybe that's a little bit compromised, and I don't know what's going on with my necklace here. Sorry. There we go. Oh yeah, Mary, that a serger would be so much easier for those pillowcases. That's for sure. If nothing else, just for the fuzz factor. So yeah, I think I'm going to do the booth different this time than what I've done in the past. I'm still going to use a lot of my same items, but I think the canopy that I'm going to get is going to have the white top just because it gets so hot down here. Yeah, I can get other colors, but it kind of doesn't make any sense. Since I'm going to be outside, I need to try and conquer the heat the best I can, every way that I can. And so white is just the way to go. So I think I'm going to do my displays and everything in white. And then the more I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, that's just kind of really smart, because then everybody looks at the product and not at the display. Because I don't want them looking at the display, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm doing everything in white. So I may be painting a bunch of things or temporarily figuring out how I want them to be white. And I may just paint because they've been wood colored for so long. I don't know that I won't paint my trunks. Those I don't even know if I'm taking or not. What am I taping? Oh, I'm just putting my patterns together. I'm in that time to cut out all the things mode. And so that's what I'm doing today. We're going to be cutting out a bajillion things. Hey, Evelyn. Hi, sweetie. Hi. She thinks it's Discord. She doesn't know. We're all over the place, Mary. So yeah, just taping up all my stuff here. But yeah, I'm going to do white. Everything's white. And then the more I thought about it, it'll be really pretty at Christmas because then I can do just all these lights and the white background will be kind of like snow. So yeah, I am kind of excited about that. I don't know why I have to put that on there, and I'm not going to. Hey, Kay. Hey, how was Comedy Club? Was that good? Did you have a good time? I've been thinking about that. We had a really good time. Okay. Oh, we had a good time. So I'm talking about there was a little bridal shower for Angelica the other night that some of the girls put on. I know some of you guys saw the invitation and everything. Oh, it was so much fun just to get together and laugh with everybody. We had a good time. And we got to be with Kay while she was driving to the comedy club. That's good. I'm sure you needed to laugh like that. So awesome. That's really great. But yeah, so when you guys talk a little bit more about farmers market and prep for that. When you guys, if you guys go do farmers market, make sure you think about everything, okay? You think about the weather. You think about the size of your space. You think about, are you in the booth by yourself? And if you're not, then that's great. But if you are, just be prepared to not be able to leave quite as easily. So that means, you know, if you want food or whatever, just have food and water with you. Now, people will come around and spell you for bathroom breaks and stuff because that's what they do. They realize a lot of people are there by themselves. So they will come around and ask you, do you need a bathroom break? Or sometimes even the people that you sit around, we take turns watching each other's booth while you run to the bathroom. And most customers, if they realize somebody ran to the bathroom, they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And they'll just wait. They'll wait till the person comes back. You know, they're not gonna leave. So it's not usually a big deal. But then the other thing you got to remember, setup is a whole nother kind of chaos. Oh my goodness. It is absolutely nuts. Hey, Evelyn, absolutely nuts. So get there right the minute you can get in, as soon as you can get in. So they'll give you a time and tell you what time setup is. It's usually from here to here. Do not go thinking, oh, well, it's only going to take me half an hour to set up, so I'm going to get there half an hour before it opens, because I can guarantee you, you will not be set up and ready in the amount of time you think you're going to be. You are going to have issues, even though you've set up how many times as a practice, you are still going to have issues. You're going to have people coming around chatting with you, and you can't just be rude and ignore them, you know. Granted, everybody's running around getting ready and trying to set up. So most people aren't going to chat for a long time, but you will have the event people coming around, either asking you for something or making sure you're aware of whatever, or are you going to donate an item, that kind of thing. So you're going to get interrupted quite a bit. And then you're also going to get interrupted because people are, they're in their own bubble. Vendors are in their own bubble when they're setting up. So you're going to get a lot of people that walk in and set their stuff in other people's areas and walk away. And they're gone. And they're gone. And they're gone. And they're gone. And you finally just move their stuff. Or they're constantly standing or stepping right where you're trying to work because they're in their own bubble. They're not paying attention to anybody else. All they're worried about is getting their stuff up. They don't care if they're in your way or whatever. So you have got to be prepared for the unexpected. And then if for some reason you're dealing with any kind of weather, be it rain, wind, that kind of stuff. So all I'm saying is get there as soon as you can. You might be waiting in line too, because maybe the way they have things set up for you to get in and set up is kind of like a line. You never know. So you're not going to know till you get there what that's like. So you got that going on. And then once you get everything into your booth, you really can't move your stuff out of the booth very easily without, again, being in somebody's way. So be very cognizant of you being in somebody else's way, even if they're not cognizant of being in your way. So then all of a sudden you're stepping over all your stuff, trying to set up as fast as you can. So you see what I'm saying? It's just kind of chaos. It's not even an organized chaos. It's like a whole bunch of ants just going and stepping over each other and stuff. So get there as soon as you can, prep your setup as much as you can. So what I do is I try, and if I have boxes that things are going to go into, and I know that I can go ahead and get things kind of folded nicely and put in there so that all I do is real carefully carry that box in and then set it up, then it's already ready to go. I have any displays, like I'm going to take my models up there. They're already dressed and ready to go. So all I do is just set them up. Things like that. You just get as much prepped as you can and put together ahead of time. And then it leaves you time for the stuff that you have to fiddle with. So yeah, just be aware of that. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The minute you get set up, then you can sit down and have your coffee or your breakfast or whatever. But what they're going to 9 times out of 10 make you do is you're going to unload and then have to go move your car, and move your car far, far away. So here's another point. If you're going to do that, do not leave your money box in your area. That is the last thing that walks into the booth with you, and that walks in with you when you're there to stay. So it is in your car, because then when you go move your car, you carry it back with you and you never have to worry. Now, if you've got somebody that is going with you and setting with you, it's a whole nother story. Then you can unload everything. That person can go drop the car off while you're loading up or setting up, or vice versa. I'm just talking about if you're here completely alone. And this is going to be my first one that I will do 100% alone that I know of right now. So it's going to be a little challenging. I've already run this through my head going, how am I going to do this? And so I think I've got it figured out. But yeah, it's going to be, I'll still have some things I'll run into, and I'll give you guys some ideas on things that happened, that kind of thing. But yeah, so I think I'm going to be painting everything as much as I can white. And that way it matches. Plus, when you go to the farmer's market, there's so much competing for your visual that everything's so colorful and so pretty because all the produce is always so fresh. And over here they have like all the kombucha, and over here, that's colorful. And then over here they have all this that's colorful. And so everywhere you look, these booths are just popping color, and everybody's like talking and everything. That's another reason why I want to do it all white, because when you look around, that all white's going to grab your eye and you're going to go, there it is. What is that? And so then my sign's going to probably be behind me. I'm not 100% sure yet that that's where it's going to be. It's standard. Don't know if I want to be standard yet. And so since it's going to be pink and gold, then that's going to pop. And that's also going to probably say children or girly or something. And so then hopefully it will draw certain people over there. So like I said, I've got some ideas that I'm playing with here. We'll see how this goes. And I will definitely share with you guys on how it all, my takeaway from it and what worked and what didn't and all that. But yeah, right down to my chair. Because I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, my chairs are the standard ones you take with you, and you unfold and you plop down. And they're always like blue or red or green or whatever. I'm like, I want a white chair. I gotta think about that one. Do I really want to make a new cover? Or do I just want to take something white and throw over it? And I might just, at the end of the day, I'm probably gonna run out of time. So I'm probably just gonna find me a white sheet or something and just throw it over it so it matches. But yeah, oh yeah, there'll be pictures, Mary. In fact, I'm gonna probably do a video and I'll show you guys. I'll walk you through the whole thing. I don't know if it'll be live or whatever. It's just going to be whatever's going on that day on how that works. But yeah, I will definitely do a video to show you guys how everything came together and my takeaway from it throughout the day. And I'm really excited. I'm really hoping that this becomes a good one for me. Very good. I'm missing it somewhere. Definitely lots of pictures. But I wanted to get a canopy for my deck anyway. So the fact that I have to buy one doesn't matter because I planned on buying one anyway. It's just going, I'm glad I didn't buy one already. There it is. I changed my mind on what I wanted. I want one that's a little bit more sturdy. And you kind of got to realize too, just be a little cognizant of the fact that you're going to be out amongst Mother Nature. Everything I've done is indoors. Now I've got a whole new thing that I have to think about. And that's my canopy going bye-bye and hurting somebody. Now we have to put weights on. It's a requirement. And they've given us, if it's a great day, use this. If it's a windy day, this is the minimum. Well, I'm going straight over to the minimum. That's the construction in me. We don't mess around with this. We go straight to the safety factor. So I'm going straight for the 40-pound weights, maybe 50. And just depends upon how much I can get in. They give me the little sacks with it that you stick in. So it'll be all right. But I'm going straight to that and figuring all that out right away. I want to get all that stuff bought now and ready to go now so that I'm done and everything is just getting ready to go. And I'm so used to, they're heavy, Mary. That's the other thing is I'm like, okay, I'm going to lift some weights here to get used to slinging all this stuff around. But I'm used to having my displays all ready to go and I don't have to think about anything. I just know the night before when I pack my car, I grab this, that, the other. I've already got it from all the craft shows before when I was doing them. I was like, my setup was pretty much the same. I had made a huge display and it went together and it held everything. And so that went into the car first. And then I would put some of my other boxes and everything in after I had put the product in. And then that would go in. So I was usually pretty well packed. Now I got to really think about it and start all over again. Yeah, Michelle, they want 40-pound minimum if it's super windy. And I get it. I totally understand that. So yeah, I just don't know how much each one of these sacks hold, because the one that I'm buying, the sacks hold 40 pounds. I don't know if I can get more in it or not. So anyway, it's all good. It's all good. But I want to get that done and ready so that I can concentrate on just making product. I want to get my signs done. That's where I was going with you guys, signage. So make sure, and you can do this on your computer. And I may do a video showing you guys how I do this, but make sure you do templates on your computer, and you can set those to the side. And then that way all you have to do is go and type in what you want on your signs. So I'm going to make a background template, and it's going to be about a 4x6 for each item. And you'll tag each item as well with a price tag. But I also want them up because most people, when they're walking by, and this is craft fair, farmer's market, whatever, when they're walking by, they won't come in the booth. If they can't see the price from out there, you're probably not going to get them in, and you'll get some. I mean, it's not like you won't get them in, but you have a better chance of pulling the ones that are just kind of out there scanning in if they can see the price from out there. So 4x6, and then I'm going to do like a template where I've got my logo and everything on the outside, and it's going to look really nice. And then all I do is I take that template, and then for each item, I go in and type what it is and the price, print it out, made a sign, and then you do it on, heavier, however you're going to put it up on the display. So that's why I've really got to think these displays out, because I also got to know how I'm going to attach my sign to the displays. So I'm already writing down prices and what I'm taking so I can start making these signs. And I want those printed and out and done. And I'm going to have everything put together like those little PC parts things, because I guarantee you don't want to be doing those at the last minute. You're going to forget something or several things, and they're going to be a really big deal. One thing you want to always have in your emergency kit is plain paper. Take just like your copy paper. Take a bunch and put it in a folder and put it in there, because if you forget your signs, or you forgot to make a sign, you need to make a sign. So have a marker, have something, and then that way you're not just totally flabbergasted that you forgot your signs. And what if you didn't have time to put prices on things? So if you're going to run out of time, the time you want to run out of is pricing each item, not making signs. If you make signs, then people know how much things are. Where if you forgot to price and you don't have signs, you're going to lose sales. So I would sooner forget, tape and scissors as well, pins, that kind of stuff. I'll go through, I'll make a, I don't know what you want to call it, if I'll do a video or if I'll just do like a list or your farmer's market, craft fair kind of thing of must-have items for behind the scenes, or just to get you through the oopsies. I always take pins. I always have sewing kit. I always have scissors. I always have glue. There's lots of things. I have a kit that I take with me. And so I've learned over the years, it's so crazy, safety pins, everything. You just throw it in there. I've even taken hammer. You're not going to realize what you'll use a hammer for. You will be shocked. And you'll get there and something in your display is not cooperating and you need a hammer. And that's what it's going to take to get it to do whatever, or it fell apart or something. So, things like that. It's just, things that you just don't even realize until you get there and you're like, duh, why didn't I think of that, So, yeah. Yep, Shayna, QR code now. That was never a thing back then. Now it is a thing. So, yeah, there's lots of little things that I'm going to think about in the next couple of weeks while I'm marketing all of this online, that, hey, this is where I'm going to be, guys. This is where I'm going to be, come check it out. So, yeah. make ones I've already got in here. But there's even going to be things that you're not going to think about. Like if you have an electric fan, kid you not, you're going to wish you had one. It can be so dead still with air in a booth like that. And then you start getting people in there. Holy cow. Just because you have this canopy over you, it's holding the heat in. The heat's not able to rise. So little things like that can be lifesavers too. A hat, you know, anything, even though you're sitting in there, it still makes a huge difference. I think you can make your own QR code, Mary. I don't think you have to buy it. I think there's websites out there that'll make it for you. You just need to go Google how to make a QR code, and I think you'll find one. I haven't looked too hard, but I think I have seen something like that when I was out cruising around, and I kind of stuck it back in my brain. Also, one thing I've been doing too, when I make these, I cut out like all of my patterns and I'm getting different sizes and I'm putting them all into, right now I'm just keeping them in a plastic. I'm highlighting on the piece which size it is so I can look at it really fast. So like this is 3 to 6 where this one is 12 to 18. And I'm trying to keep them together, but you know how they sometimes shuffle around and everything. Hey, Pia. So yeah, I realize this is helping me a lot and I can put my eyes on it real fast. So I'm not shuffling and then wasting a lot of time just trying to find it if I'm missing a piece. Yeah. And then, yeah, you're going to need, like Michelle's saying, you need Band-Aids, Tylenol, you know, Pepto-Bismol, all that. I mean, especially if you're in the booth by yourself, I'll guarantee Tylenol. I've had so many headaches at these craft shows because I'm sleep deprived, and no amount of coffee is going to get rid of that headache when I'm sleep deprived. And then maybe you've got an allergy going on top of it because you're outside. Oh my goodness, you could have a migraine in half a second. So yeah, definitely want Tylenol. So anyway, but I'm trying to think of other things. And another thing I do, and this is just, I don't plan anything that evening. And sometimes I don't even plan anything the next morning. I could be so completely wiped out once I get home, because when you get home, you still kind of have to unload. And after you've been sleep deprived all week because you're getting ready, and then you get up super early and you go and unload and you set up and then you sit outside or sit inside or whatever and do all that and then load back up again. And then you get home. The last thing you want to do is unload, but you have to, or at least unload enough, like, you know, money, stuff that matters. Or if you have to take a car, just enough that you can drive around and not worry about your car getting broke into, or you can see. I mean, I've had times where I go to shows when I had my big display. Oh my gosh, you'd be surprised what I used to be able to get into my Saturn. I had an SUV Saturn, and I was sitting, had the seat as far forward as it could go, and thank goodness I'm short. It was still really hard to drive because it was still just a little too far forward for me, but I had no choice. That was the only way I could get my tailgate down. because it had to be that far forward to get my display in. It's the only way it fit. And I had things packed to the ceiling, over on the seat with me, packed high. I could see out the windows, but that was about it. I couldn't see like over my shoulder out back. I had relied on my mirrors for that. And most of the time, you know, I took back roads anyway, just because of that factor, so I wouldn't have to be in traffic and everything. Oh my goodness. I'd get home and I would literally unload as little as I had to. And I went and flopped on the couch and I would take a nap for like an hour or two before I'd go out, and if I could unload, if I felt like unloading, or I would get up really early the next day and unload if I had to go somewhere or whatever. But it was crazy. I was just completely exhausted. And then I had to make sure, you know, dinner or something, because food at craft fairs is always iffy at best. You know, it's a hot dog or a pretzel or whatever. And so we always brought our own food. But even then, that was still kind of, you were like starving when you get home, and the last thing you want to do is cook. So, you know, drive through on the way home, even though I'm like this in my steering wheel, trying to go through a drive through, and people are looking at me like, what's with that one? You know, what's going on over here? So, oh my goodness. I mean, I felt like my vehicle, one more thing and it was just going to explode. So it worked. I had it down to a science. I could load it and unload it in an hour. So it was crazy how much I got in there. But also you want to maybe take a trolley. If you have a trolley, that's always helpful. You never know how far you have to carry something. You may not be able to get right up to your spot and unload, and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to get up to your spot and unload. If you're going to an indoor area, you're going to be maneuvering around everybody else who has trolleys with their stuff hanging out everywhere and trying to go through the middle and not paying attention to anybody else. Or you've got stuff falling off your trolley. You know, it's chaos. It's chaos. So yeah, you learn after the first one you do kind of how to maybe redo some things, because in your brain it worked. And then when you got there, you're like, yeah, that would have worked if it would have been like this, but it wasn't. So yeah, after you've done 1 or 2, you kind of understand the unloading of each area you go to. So this one, I don't quite know what it's going to be like. I've got an idea just from what they explained, but I still don't know. I'm going to assume I'm going to be carrying everything. So my brain's going, maybe I want to go get a trolley. I don't know. I don't know. I've already put out enough money. I don't want to go buy a trolley, but I may wish I had when I get there. So I wanted to go to the one in July just to kind of scout it out. And then I ended up not being able to because I forgot I had 2 other things that day I had to be at, and I couldn't get out of it. So if you can go scout it out ahead of time, go to one. I really recommend it so that you kind of get a feel for what the layout's like, kind of where, you know, talk to some of the vendors and just say, where do we have to park? How does unloading look like? You know, where are you doing that from? And then that helps you plan a little bit too. So 6, 2, yeah, you're going to see some real seasoned veterans on some of these too, and you'll learn a lot from watching these people that have done it for decades. And they roll in and they set up and they're done. It's crazy. We had ones that I've done recently was for my yarn, my dyed yarn, and some of these fiber shows are huge. So you're unloading in the back of a convention center and walking all the way across the convention center. So they have big trolleys for you to use, but it's a first come, first served basis. So you got to wait for somebody to be done with theirs. And so you're kind of stalking these people that are You can tell they're almost done, and you're going to pounce on them because the minute they've got that unloaded, you walk up, I'll take that from you, and then you run and go grab yours. But some of these people had it down. They were smart. One group had these mobile display units, and they had their product already displayed on it. And they had these big pieces of fabric. I don't know, they were specially made to fit over this thing, because this thing was probably 5 by 7. And so they would walk in like this with it on wheels. All they had to do was get those all off of their big trailers, roll them down the trailer into their booth, set them up in order, pull that fabric off, put their sign up, and they're good to go. They'd set up in like however long it took them to get from the trailer to their space and back. Pulling everything off and putting the sign up probably took them maybe 15, 20 minutes. I was just sitting there watching those guys going, I'm impressed. Now they've got to do a whole lot of business or a whole lot of shows to pay for something like that, because I'm sure that was not cheap. But yeah, they did all their prep the day before in getting all that hung up and displayed and deciding, how everything, they had time to actually set it up and then go, want to move that here and that there kind of thing, instead of having to do that in their space. So they were sitting there having coffee, watching the rest of us going crazy, and they're just sitting there waiting for the show to open. And I was like, wow, you guys are good. Yeah, and see, yeah, it's time to get a trial. You usually don't have stairs, Michelle. Most of the time, some of these convention centers, yeah, you can go in the front where there's stairs, but you can go around to the back and load in through the back. And they have ramps and big overhead doors and stuff. Even if you're doing it in schools, like high schools and stuff, they have like a stage area or a back area somewhere you can get in, and it's right on grade. So you're able to just come in. Now you may have to go down a little ways and around, but if you're not having to go up and down stairs all the time, yeah, that's huge. So that's where knowing what your venue is going to be like is a big deal, because if you know you have to navigate stairs ahead of time, you're going to probably redo a few things on how you pack and on how you're going to want to get it in the door. So yeah, it's a lot of research. I know where I'm doing this at. It's in a church. And so they're doing the parking lot and then the auditorium. I chose to be outside because a lot of times when you have spaces like that, the indoor spaces are reserved for the people who have either specific requirements or vendors that have been there and kind of worked their way up. So I just went for the outside straight away, knowing I'm probably not going to get the inside. The inside was more expensive anyway. I don't really need electricity. So another reason why I really didn't need inside. If you need electricity and you can borrow a generator from somebody, I would highly recommend it, because you can save a lot of money on booth space if you have a generator. And some of these generators are tiny. And so if you know somebody that has one and you can borrow it from them because they're portable, that's all you need. If you've got to have that. And then you can save yourself some money, and you can also not worry about what booth you end up in or having to run cords and take cords down and people tripping over cords and stuff, because your cord has to go a certain direction just to get to the electricity. Hey, Zoa. Yeah, fields are sketch. I agree, Michelle. Fields are sketch. And if you have rain and all that, but I would take a tarp if I was going to be out in the field. I'm just going to be on asphalt, so it's going to be fine. But I do know that the area I'm going to, I drove by it every day going to work when I was working in the office before I started working from home. Drove by that for years. So I know, when I saw where it was, I know that whole parking lot, a lot of it is very shady, and I'm very excited. A lot of trees. that parking lot. So I think I'm not so 100% worried about having mud even if it rains. Because I don't, there's some grassy areas, but there's a lot of parking lots. So I'm sure they're going to keep us in the parking lot. That would only make sense. Hey, Jacqueline. Hey, hey. Haven't talked to you in a long time. How are you doing, girl? Hey, Debbie. Yeah, we're talking, girls. If any of you that are coming in right now, if you're ever going to go do any kind of a market or a craft fair or whatever, we've been talking about this whole time. And I'll be giving updates and stuff later on, but I'm doing a farmer's market here in a month. I just got accepted. It was a juried one. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm starting to prep and doing all the stuff that I know I got to do now. So I can just keep motivating myself and moving forward. If I get kind of stuck in neutral, hey, Corinne, I have to get off of that neutral and I have to do something that gives me some instant gratification to see where I'm going and make sure I feel like I'm getting somewhere. And then I'm remotivated again and I can go back to what I was stuck on. So sometimes, it's not so much that you're stuck, but you're on something that just takes a long time to see results. And I can get in a rut pretty fast if I get stuck there. Oh yeah, Debbie, you definitely want to go and rewatch all of this. I've done a lot of craft shows in the fairs and stuff in the past, so I was giving people some ideas. This is going to be a new one, and I've never done a farmer's market per se, so outside kind of thing. This will be new for me, but it's going to be fun. I am so stoked. I am so stoked about this one. So yeah, they were supposed to get back to me. Like they said, it was like 72 hours. And I was starting to get really worried because it took them a week. And I was like, okay, breathe. They're just busy. You haven't heard anything. So that doesn't mean you didn't get in. But I was like, well, it's also getting close to fall. And they've probably got a lot of people wanting to get in. So it might be harder to get in just for that fact. But I got in. So I can breathe now. And it kind of sounds like once I'm in, getting in for the next month probably isn't quite as hard, which that's awesome. So I think I might be able to, stay in. Ember LaRue, what are you doing? So being able to be in through the holidays too is kind of hopeful for me. So a once a month market, I think, is kind of what I want to do for the upcoming future. How long, I don't know. We'll see how each month goes. But hey, it could be fun. It could be a good way to get my name out there. And they're usually very inexpensive to get into. So it's pretty easy to make your fees back and make some quick cash. Are you really hungry? She's over here scavenging and like she hasn't eaten today. I feel bad. You act like I haven't fed you today, girl. Yeah, you've eaten. You just snacky? Feeling snacky? I'm sure, Jacqueline. Yeah, that doesn't take much for that to kind of just come in, and all of a sudden you're like 2 weeks later going, where'd that time go? I didn't realize I'd lost that much time. So I get it. I totally get it. trying to mark these as I go so I can see what I've got here. And this is stuff I needed to do anyway. So this is good. That's another reason why I decided I really wanted to do a market. I was being a procrastinator about a lot of things, and I needed a reason to motivate myself to get it done. And I knew if I got myself into a market, I would get super stoked. And that's all I got to have is something like that I get really, really excited about. And then I just kick it into overdrive and things just happen. And that's what I decided I needed to do. And it was just kind of a whim last week. I was like sitting there during the day at work. And all of a sudden I was just like, I should do a farmer's market. And so I Googled farmer's markets around me because I know we have a bajillion of them here. And I knew the one that was right up the road from me is going, it probably wasn't the best fit. In fact, we have two literally in the town up the road from me. And neither one of them I felt was a good fit for me. The first one is smaller and it's a lot of food. It's mainly just food. And I've seen a few people come and go through there with like jewelry and stuff, and they're only there like once. So they probably don't do well because it's food. And it's down amongst all the restaurants and in the downtown area. So I was like, no, that one's not for me. And then the other I just don't like the setup. They can't do any better than what they're giving you, and I get it, but it's very crowded and congested area. It's very touristy, and it probably could be a good one for me. And I'm not going to say I'm definitely a no on it yet, but I also know that I've walked through that one several times, and they have a lot of good stuff, though. They really do. So that's why I'm like, I know it costs a little more to get into that one too, and it might be even harder to get in, but I could probably do really well in it. But it is a very congested one, so setting up just alone can be difficult. And then I'd be sitting there across from one of my favorite restaurants going, I want that for lunch, and I can't get there. Would they deliver if I call in and say, can you walk this over across the street? They probably would, now that we've got this delivery stuff going on now. But yeah, so what am I going to sell, Pia wants to know. All right. Well, my one strategy that I'm doing, and this one anybody can do, but I decided I'm going to try and really capitalize on a price point. And so my capitalization is about $15 and below is where I'm concentrating. Now, that's not where everything's going to be at. But hi, Diane. I'm concentrating on that $15 because I'm thinking, all right, when people are at a market, they are not going to probably want to drop a lot of money on something. And so unless they see something that they absolutely, either they know they have a gift coming up or they've been looking for this, or it catches their eye or whatever. So I will have some other things at higher price points, but my main sellers that's going to be in the booth is going to be $15 and below. And I did a calculation. I've got a dollar amount in my head that I'm shooting for. And so I calculated how many items at $15 I would have to sell to get at that. It's doable. It's doable. It's stretch, but I figure I set it higher because I know if I hit that price of that, okay, I set it higher than what I figure I will make because I base my inventory on that dollar amount that I want to make. And then I take that dollar amount, and then what I shoot for to have in my booth is 2 to 3 times that amount dollar-wise, because you never want your booth to look too empty too early. So later in the day, it's fine if you've been having a ton of sales and it's getting light, that's okay. But you don't want to all of a sudden, have a really good 1 hour right at the beginning, and then the rest of the time your booth looks light. That's not good for sales. So by doing that, several items here. First of all, it's a lot of items that I can produce quickly. So I'll be able to fluff and get to that point, that other dollar over there to support where I want to land. And then if I land right here, I'm still going to be happy. Also, most people, when you go to an ATM, $20 bill is all you can get. Stay under that $20 bill, because people are going to have one or two of those in their pocket. They're going to have a 10 or a 5 or both. They're going to have ones. Always kind of think about, what if they went at the last second and they don't want to use a credit card or a debit card. They just want to use cash. That's where my price point for that is coming. And then you're also, since we're in a kid thing, that they're going to have a lot of kids activities at this farmer's market. So it's going to be very kid oriented. So mom and dad are going to be spending money here, there, 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 there. So I got to keep my price point low to be able to get into that mix. If I have something that's higher, I'm probably not going to have very many sales. So yeah, it's yeah, you can, Debbie, you can do it that way if you want. You have to calculate your sales tax in though, and that's kind of a nightmare. So you just decide if you want to account for your sales tax in that even amount or not, and then you deal with it later. But you do have to remit sales tax. So keeping it with no coins is a little difficult. Haven't quite crossed the decision on whether I'm doing that yet or not. I think a lot of people are going to pay with a card. So I don't know that it really matters as much anymore as it used to. But yeah, because you will always have to give your sales tax permit to be able to get into craft shows or farmers markets. So you will be expected to collect sales tax, and there could even be somebody there from whatever jurisdiction that is, walking around and making sure you have a permit. Some areas are very strict, others are not. I've got mine on my phone, so if anybody would ever ask, all I got to do is pull a picture and show. And they've got a copy of it at the registration. So even if I don't have it, they can probably produce it, but I've got it on my phone. So it's not a problem. But just be aware, some areas are very, very, very strict, and they will have an agent walking around. Now, I don't see that down here, but I know when I was back home, it was a possibility that it could have happened, that they could have come to my booth and said, I need to see your permit. So, and we don't place them up. I mean, you could. Yeah, and I've got the card reader, and most people are going to want to use a card anyway. A lot of people don't carry cash anymore. Some do, but it's not as much as like they used to. Okay, I just need to print one more. I'm missing a size. Sorry, I just realized I need to print one more. I don't know if I've still got it open. I don't think I do. So anyway, yeah, we'll get into prep a little more when I do. I'll do either a tutorial or something specifically slated at this kind of stuff and do a video on it. That way, if anybody is wanting to watch something and take notes, then it's more of a concentrated, shorter video, so it doesn't take a whole lot of time. You can sit and watch. I'm going to try and keep it at like 10-15 minutes so that it's a real quick watch, and it can be something you can watch several times as you know, you get to it, or if the night before it's like, okay, what did I forget, and watch it again or something. So yeah, that kind of stuff. But that's kind of my strategy. And then I've got a couple other ideas I'm playing with, and I haven't quite decided yet if I'm going to either do it or pull it off or whatever. And I may not be able to do it this time because it may involve electricity, and I don't have electricity. So we'll see. But it'll be fun. It's always a good time. And then you never know too, at these places, sometimes you can have a store come up to you and say, hey, do you wholesale? It happens. So you could possibly pick up a wholesale account. I'm not saying that you will, but it's always a possibility. So plus then too, if you do it over and over and over, you make friends with some vendors. And that's always good because then you kind of have a buddy and kind of a buddy system. And then all of a sudden oh, I forgot this. Oh, I've got it, you know, and you guys just kind of always help each other out as you come to these things or whatever. So yeah, it's always nice. It's always nice to have that. And you'll see some of these people at other places as well. And they may even have a really good place that they go vend at, and they'll share it with you. So always good. Oh, don't be nervous, Corinne. You'll be fine. So sorry, Pia. I went to answer that, and I totally got off track. Sorry. Yes. So I'm going to do the kids' clothes. I'm going to do a sample sale for sure. So all my samples that I did for my website are going to be there, and I'm going to have a special area that says sample sale. So those will be there, and they'll be priced accordingly. You know, you always want to do a percentage off. I haven't decided quite yet where that's going to land. And then I'm going to do bummies and headbands and shorts and dresses, either levies or blankets. I haven't decided which one yet, or maybe both. Those are the higher price point items, so I'm not doing a ton of those. I've got, what else have I got? T-shirts, leggings. I'll do some of my shoes. Those will be higher price point as well. But that's what Scandeez started on, so I've got to have my shoes. That's my who made me. What else do I have on my list? Oh, patches. Came up with that one this morning. Kids' patches can be really good because you can do those for, $5 to $8, depending upon the size, maybe 10 if they're huge, or you want to do a pack or whatever. And that could be something that the kid runs over and, mommy, 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 and it's minimal dollars. And I could blow those out the door. So I'm like, patches might be good. Plus then I can put those over on the machine, and I can actually set up my embroidery machine upstairs right by my computer during the day and literally just run those all day long while I'm working. So, Haiti, hi. Glad you could join us. Oh, thanks, Pia. So, yeah. Okay, Jacqueline, good night. Yeah, you are 7 hours ahead of us. So absolutely, no. You have a good evening. I hope you sleep well. So let me see what else I got on my list here. Oh, my kerchief bibs. Those are real easy and fast. I think I might do the bears that we did the video of, because those were really fast too. And they're super, super inexpensive to make. So that could be another one of those mommy, 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 you know, and I can price that to blow those out the door too. So I've got a couple of things that I want to keep at a really low price point so I could just sell, 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 sell. And I got to make sure, you know, especially like those patches, man, I could see those just going crazy, crazy, crazy. So that's kind of what's on the list. And I may niche down a little bit yet. So I was just doing a brain dump this morning and putting all that on my list. And I know the hardcores, and then I know some of those I may back out as time comes on and I don't see either me getting them done or me thinking that the price point is going to make sense. So yeah, I just, hey Joe, I know that some of those things, price point's not an issue. And then I got others where I'm like, kind of walking a line on that one. So those the ones that I'm walking the line on may not get into that price point. I may still do some, but not as many, and then bring those anyways. I want to not have a lot of a variety, but just enough. I don't want people to walk by and go, oh, well, that, nope, not for me. I want to have enough that where they come in and look and then, hey, Faye. And so if nothing else, they take a card and I make a sale on my website later. So that's my second strategy, is getting either the add-on sale on my website from a sale I've made, or a sale on my website because a card went out and they saw me in person and talked to me and got to know the person behind the business. Sometimes that personal touch, that talking, is all it takes to get a sale, because you stand out in that crowd of many. And then they go and, oh, I remember her. Yeah, we had a really good conversation when I saw her over at wherever. I definitely want to support her because I know her. Where this other person, I don't know them. So personal touch is always good. Yep, definitely could, Michelle. I can do a lot with those bears. So that's one of those things where every month I go, it could be a bear one month, it could be a monster the next month, it could be a dog the month after that, it could be a cat the month after that. And so I've always got something fresh, but it's not another pattern I have to go out and search and learn. It's just a pattern that I take and just alter a little tiny bit. So yeah, when I did that, you guys remember, you remember, Michelle, I was telling you that pattern is really, really versatile, and we can change that one up in a heartbeat. So yeah. But anyway, that's a little more strategy too. There's a lot of science into selling at a marketplace like this. A lot of science. And so the first one or two you go to, you may not do well. I kind of always figure when I go to a market, the first time I go, if I make back my booth rent, I've done good. I'm okay with that. If that's the worst I do, if I've paid for my booth rent and made enough sales to do that, then okay. But I learned something because maybe what I was doing was not 100% spot on for that location. So yeah. Yep, absolutely, Michelle. Absolutely. Plus, yep, yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking, Michelle, is I can do some of the patches on a few things. And I can even just take, like, I've got a denim jacket, and I can put that on display and just kind of tack one up there without actually it being attached, and put it all over. And that way they see what it looks like. You know, it's all about display, guys. You've got to help people visualize where it goes, how to use it. how to put it together, that kind of thing. If you do that well, you will have sales. And most people, it's really kind of weird, but most people need help putting outfits together. Even women. It's very, you would not believe how many people used to ask me when I was in retail, you know, can you help me put this together? And it was a girl. It was always a girl. So I started realizing they needed help. You know, people, it's just not a natural thing for people. So always go that extra mile and make sure you're showing them how things go together. Oh, I have a new outfit that's going as well, Pia. It's going to be a linen top with the bummies. And, you know, I have the linen. I just haven't. I was going to do a different one for the summer. And then I realized, no, I wanted to do this other one first because it's a lot more simple. I can do this other, the one I started to do, I can do it later. I want to use these for that top because I can whip those out really fast. And I need to have probably 3 of each size. And I'm going to do 3 different colors because I'm going to match it with, I've got specific bummies going with one of them. I've got a charcoal linen that I'm going to put with the, it's right here. I was taking pictures with these things earlier. I have a charcoal linen that's going to go with these. So that's the only one. Well, I've got others that you can wear with it too. I mean, I've got, these could go with it as well. But then the pink and the blue, like the blue will go with this. And I've got a couple other knits that the blue can go with. And then the pink, I've got a couple as well. So I'm hoping to do a multiple sale as well. You can buy one, the other, or I'm going to do a set price as well. So they can get a little bit of a discount. And then that's the other thing too, guys. When you're doing these markets, always do a 1 for this price, 2 for that price, 3 for that price kind of thing. And you'd be surprised. Multiple sales. It's a, in retail, what they do, it's kind of weird. Those of you that haven't worked retail, especially in boutique kind of stores, they have goals for their associates every day. And a lot of times it's not a sales goal, guys. It's a piece goal. You've got to, they try and get you to sell so many pieces, and they have a number, whether it's 2, 3, 5, 10, to each customer, and that's your goal. So I know the one that I used to manage, our piece count was 4. And that's what they wanted, the average at the end of the day when the sales were done and we ran the sale total. They wanted the average number of items we sold versus the number of sales to be 4 items per sale. So that was always everybody's striving goal, was you try and do that add-on sale to get to that piece count per person. And I kind of look at it still that way versus a dollar amount, because it's easier for me to figure out how I'm going to do an add-on sale piece-wise than dollar-wise. I can put an outfit to people together and decide I want to sell them 3 items per person. And so I can show them a top, a bummy, and a headband, or a top, a bummy, and a pair of shoes, or a blanket and a bummy and a bib, or whatever. And it makes some sense. So I can wrap my head around that one a lot easier than trying to say, I want to make sure every sale is at least $15 or $20. That's a little harder for me to quantify how that's going to happen than if I look at it as how I'm going to put things together. Plus, people need help, like I said, putting things together. So you start doing that, and your piece count goes up, and then your dollar amount goes higher probably than what you were originally planning. So if I start concentrating on piece amounts, my $15 where I first started to kind of just get me in a ballpark as to give me a goal could possibly get blown out of the water at the end of the day, you know, granted, you're going to have the person that buys one item, no big deal. You know, you're going to have your $2 and $5 sales. That happens. It's no big deal. But it's going to help me get that more often because I know how to go about getting there a little easier. Yeah, and a lot of people love the 2-4. So I know the things that you do 2-4 on are going to be things like your bummies and your headbands and your t-shirts and your leggings and the things that people want several of anyways. So most of you girls are moms and you already know what you want several things of. So in your mind, you already know I need to do those as 2-4s. And your price point, your profit point, I guess I should say, you know where your profit point is on that. And so those are the items where you have a bigger profit point and you know it takes less time to make. Those are the items that you want to do your 2-4s because you're going to pop those prices down. Now, when I go to the farmer's market too, my prices are going to be a little bit lower than say on Etsy because I'm not paying fees. There's no fees. So I'm going to be able to drop my prices a little bit to get into a better price point for people anyways in a face-to-face kind of thing. And most people know when they go to an online store, the prices are going to be a little higher just because there are fees involved. They get it. They get it. I mean, I'm still going to have like the credit card fees, but I'm not going to have like the Etsy fees that they take. So that gets wiped away. So my prices already can go down $1 or $2 just because of that. Yep, you do. You'll sell more sets, Mary, by doing that. Yes. Yep. And if they already know that they're going to want, you know, they see a couple of them and they're like, I don't know which one I want to get, this or this. And then there's a 2 for price. Well, they're going to just get both. They don't have to make a decision. Yep. That's absolutely right, Michelle. So it's all in thinking about how people are going to want to shop. Now, do not fall into the trap of gauging prices on what you would pay for something. Don't fall into that trap. 9 times out of 10, you're going to underprice yourself. And underpricing yourself can be very detrimental. People place value on an item based on its price. That's good and bad. So if you price too high, yeah, it can hurt you, but it can also be good too because you don't have to make as many sales and the value is there. Now, don't go completely overboard, but don't be worried if you maybe are $1, $2, or $3 higher than most people. If you have value that you can point to on that, like it's organic, or you have a specialty fabric, not a Joann's fabric, you know, some fabric that not everybody has or can go buy, you know, that places a value on it. Maybe you have a whole coordinating set, like you got that print in like the pink, and then it was like pink and white. Well, then you also got it in the white and pink, and then you made like a whole set using those two together. So they all coordinated, and the person next door had the same fabric, but they only had like 1 or 2 items made in the outfit. All of a sudden yours got more value. So see what I'm saying by you can price a little higher. Now, if you price too low, but your items are really beautiful, but they're too low, you're still not going to sell because people are going to think they're not quality because your price is so low. Now, if it's a closeout sale, that might be a whole different story, but don't underprice yourself. And a lot of people will underprice themselves because they look at an item and they're like, that's really great, but I don't have that kind of money to spend. So I can't spend that kind of money. Well, that doesn't mean that your audience can't. So that's why I'm saying be very, very, very careful about gauging how much you charge for an item based upon either what you pay or you took a poll of your neighbors or your family. I wouldn't do that either. I would do the hardcore calculations that a bunch of us have shown you how to do on figuring out your cost and your labor and everything that's in, and then how to add in your profit and everything. That is where I would go. Then what I do with something like that, when I've come up with a price point, then I go out to places like Etsy and the store and other online shops and just kind of see what my competitors in that area are charging. And I can tell you 9 times out of 10, I'm right there when I do those calculations. I'm right in that price point with everybody else. And had I just looked at that and went, okay, I know my cost is this, and maybe I'm going to double the cost. And then I come up with the price and I'm like, oh boy, I couldn't afford that because I only make X amount of dollars or whatever. I'll guarantee that price that I did on just doubling or whatever is probably still lower than what the general is. And then if I cut it down even more, I'm hurting myself. I'm hurting everything. You know, I'm taking money out of my pocket, everything. You're not getting paid what you should be getting paid. So yeah, and don't go by Walmart prices, Michelle, unless that's your customer. You have to decide who your customer is, okay? Once you've decided who your customer is, you have to stay in that customer price point. And there's nothing wrong if you want to be in the Walmart customer price point. There's nothing wrong with it. Just make sure you can make money doing that and realize that's who your customer is, okay? If you all of a sudden have a customer that is maybe more of, and I'm just going to throw out like a Macy's or a Nordstrom's or something like that, and that's great. You do wherever you feel comfortable with. If you have that is who your customer is, and then you have somebody else coming by that is more of a Walmart customer, and then they make a snide comment, that's okay. They're not your customer because you've already decided ahead of time who your customer base is, and that's cool. You could drop your prices to be what and they still wouldn't buy. So just realize where your customer base is, and you have to decide that out of the gate, okay? And then once you've decided, you got to stay true to that. And the minute you stay true to that, you are going to be just fine, and you're going to make money. You're going to do great. But make sure you stay there, okay? Don't do this. And then if you decide that all of a sudden you want to change your customer, that's fine. You can do that as well. You can go from one to the other, from here to there, but make sure you change completely and you stay in your lane. I can't stay in that lane, guys. A lot of people, the reason why when they do this and then they wonder why things aren't working, they got to stay in the lane. Okay. So, hey, Joanne. Yeah. And Michelle, if you're going to do coupons and do all that thing, then that's your customer. You can do so much for that. If that's where, once you decide who your customer is, you can decide how to market to your customer, and you can have so many things that work for you that don't work for this other person because that's not their customer. So figure that out, and don't be apologetic about who your customer is. It's who it is, and you will be fine. Yep, I agree, Mary. And then if you, and you know what? I came really close to almost doing the Walmart customer. I really did, because there is such a huge amount of things you can do for them that would be so fun, and you could just really go crazy with it, and they would eat it up. So, you know, each lane that you choose to be in has its advantages, okay? And they all have their disadvantages. So don't think that if you choose one area, you're in the wrong lane. Just take it and explode it. Make sure you research it, though. You understand your customer. And if the minute you understand your customer, you're good. You're golden. You got it. You'll know when you start looking at patterns or looking at things to add to your shop, you're going to instantly go, yes, no, okay, maybe, and put it off to the side, and then look at that one a little further, or maybe you just have to change it just a little bit to make it your customer. And then all of a sudden, maybe you have a whole new item that nobody else has because you actually know your customer. That's a whole nother topic, guys, that I could go into a really, really in depth. It's exciting. It's an exciting exciting kind of thing to get to research and know, because even though you've done it at the beginning, you still have to keep doing it and have to keep doing it and have to keep knowing it and keep up with their trends. And that's where it gets to be a lot of fun. And that's where a lot of your, if you're an Instagrammer who follows certain things, and I follow certain shops because they have the same customer I have, and I follow them just to kind of make sure I understand a trend, or if they're doing something and they're my direct competitor, maybe I want to change it just a little bit, you know, just enough so that it's definitely got my flavor to it and I don't look like everybody else or whatever. But I do a lot of that, and I'm sure a lot of people do, and they just maybe don't either think to say that they do that, or that's their little nugget that they keep hidden. But those very successful shops do it. They will go follow certain things that fit into their customers. So my thing too is it's not necessarily just shops that you follow. You may be following influencers. You may be following activities because you want to know trends in activities, if that falls into things that you're going to offer. So yeah, just be aware of knowing your customer so you'll know what to follow. Yeah, I know. You know, it's so funny, Mary, because I've had how many people, when I was doing craft shows way back when, I was just starting to do some kid stuff, but I did a lot of signs and hand painted items and just decorations and things. And I got to a point where, God love them, some of these sweet crafters that they really tried hard, and I felt so bad for them because they wanted to be successful, but they weren't really very talented. And you always felt so bad for them because you know that was just like their hobby, and it was just such a piece of them, and they weren't really selling very well. And then I would feel so bad when I would go somewhere and somebody had seen a sign that I did and they loved it, and then they did it, and I never got offended. I actually took it as a compliment because they loved it enough that they did it. And it didn't happen a lot, but it did happen a handful of times. And we'd be at the same craft fair. And one time I was sitting across from them and I had my sign and they had theirs. And it was everything I could do not to go take my sign down so that they could sell. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt so bad for them that I don't know if you guys kind of understand what I'm saying, but I really wanted them to sell because I knew that was such a deep piece in their heart. So anyway, I got off topic there a little bit, but if I had a nickel or a dime for every person that would come over, pick this up, look at it. Oh, that's really cute, Mom. Look at this. Or Sally, come look at this. Oh my gosh, this would look so good in my kitchen or on my bathroom. And they'd look at it and they'd carry it around, and then they'd come back and go, walk away. Yeah, I can make that. And they'd walk away. And me and my sister, we'd be like, everything we could do and say, yeah, but are you gonna? Because I bet you're not going to be able to go out and remember this sign when you get home and then know exactly what you have to go buy. But if I had a dime for every time somebody said that, I would have paid for my booth rent every single craft show. It was crazy. These people are just like, and they didn't care if you heard them. They're just like walking away. Yeah, I'm going to go home and make that. So it's like, okay. Again, not my customer. They were not my customer. And that's what both me and my sister realized, you know, and that's okay. They weren't our customer. But it was almost hysterical because it was always the same, like 2 or 3 items every craft show that the people would say it about it. And they'd go over and they'd pick it up and they'd start looking at it. And me and my sister would just look at each other like, here it comes. And every time they put it down and walk away, and we almost started taking it down. And it's like, yep, we could have made X amount of dollars today with that dime. It was so funny. So you'll get a lot of that too, you know. Or you'll get the person that'll be like, yeah, I'm going to go look around. I'll be back. And we got to the point in some of these craft shows, and we didn't mean it in a sarcastic way, but we kind of realized it could have sounded sarcastic, so we had to be really careful how we did this. Or we were like, oh, okay, yeah, remember, we're right next door to, because I guarantee you, if they really were going to come back, they'll get all the way across and they'll be like, where was that shop I was going to go back to that had, so they could honestly be truthfully meaning they're going to come back. So don't be afraid to say to them, and just kind of figure it out ahead of time. Because if you're, yeah, like I said, it can kind of come across sarcastic if you don't have the right words. But just kind of pick a point that's very obvious that they won't forget. Like you're next to the concession stand or something. Say, oh yeah, don't forget, we're like right next to the concession stand in case you forget. Because I know, you know, when you get all the way across, I know I would forget. So if you guys really want to come back, just remember that. Or if there's a map, you know, and they want to mark it, or you've got some shows will give maps, and every vendor will have it. And I'll take that map and mark it ahead of time with a marker where I'm at. And then that way, if I hand a map out to somebody and it's not the, oh, I'll be back, but hey, do you have a map of all the vendors? I'm already marked on that with a highlighter. And so if they pick it up, so just little things like that to make a difference. But I also, you know, that way if they, oh yeah, then you can hand them a map going, oh yeah, here's a map in case, you know, you get lost or whatever, and you want to remember where I'm at. So yeah, you can do that too, Pia. Give a card with your spot number, and you can already have those pre-made. You know, you can write them on your card. So yeah, little tricks like that. Just remember, a lot of times people really honestly do mean they're going to come back, and then they forget where you're at. So. And I'm not getting all my patterns cut out because I'm talking. Every time, I know, guys, every time work with me ends up being a talk with me, chat with me. But they're doing a scavenger hunt for the kiddos to give the kids something to do as well at the craft show. And I contemplated doing it. It was an extra $10. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, might not be a good thing to have the kids constantly just running in and out of my booth. So I decided not to, and I thought, well, they'll probably do this every time. So if I see how this works and I think it would work well with my booth, maybe I'll do it next time. But I was like, oh my, that could also mean mom and dad come in and the kiddos are so hell-bent on doing this scavenger hunt that they don't give mom and dad time to look around and pull them out of my booth into the next one and into the next one and into the next one. So I kind of backed off just from that thought process. So I'm going to see how this plays out before I decide if I'm going to do it next time. And I don't know if there's like prizes. I really didn't read it that well. What the kids get when they complete the scavenger hunt. I'm sure it's something, because since we're paying an extra $10 to do that, there's probably prizes involved that they're going to go get for the kids to do that. Yeah, Faye, I'm thrilled. I'm super excited. Yeah, you missed the probably beginning when I was telling everybody I just found out I got in. This one I'm really excited about. I really wish I could have went. This last time they have I've never been to a farmer's market where they actually have like the stage set up with the live music. They've got they've got like these characters running around for the kids. And I'm going to be advertising it a lot here and there, but I'll put up like the picture that they sent me. The picture is really, it looks like a lot of fun. So I'm excited. I really hope it's as fun as the picture looks, because if nothing else, I'm going to have a fun day just watching everything. It's going to be a blast. But yeah, the live music that they had, I think this month, they have a lot of good local talent around here. So there's always live music everywhere you go anyway. So there's a lot to pick from. So I'm sure whoever that they had this last time, they just showed some guy with guitar, and he looked like he was one of the local artists kind of thing that they got. I'm sure it's going to be really good. I hope I'm not too far away from all of it because I want to be able to hear it. Sometimes these patterns are really hard when you get into these small areas to see exactly where you're supposed to cut, because they've got all the lines on top of each other. It's probably going to take me longer to cut everything out. By the time I get the patterns cut out, get the fabric cut out, then it's going to really take to sew a bunch of this together, which is good. Just good. I'll get that instant gratification going pretty fast here, which I need. But always make sure you have a plan, a really, really, really good plan for your inventory, for your setup, for your breakdown, even how you're going to break down your booth and what that's going to look like, so that you can, because when you're ready to go, trust me, you're going to be like, how fast can we get out of here? So you're just going to take everything and go, So and you can't break down early. Don't even go there, because you will lose any ability to come back. They will completely take that away from you. And no matter how dead it is, they're not going to let you break down early. So a lot of times what I do is, if it's really, really, really dead, I just start rearranging like my booth, so that I know if this is going into that is over here and ready for me to pull out and just go. So I make sure everything is just as organized as possible. And then again, money box, last item with you after you park your car, first item out of your booth when you go to pick up the car to bring it around. Never, never, never pack that in the bottom of a box and put stuff on it. Anything. You just don't know who's watching. Yeah, Faye. I am starting prep, Faye, for the farmer's market. So right now I'm cutting out all my patterns for the bunnies, because I just want to, I'm one of those that I want to have all the multiple sizes in the patterns already ready to go. And then I can just sit and do, when I do prep, I'll do all one size. And then I take all of those and put them in a box. And I label that box, because there's no tags on them while you're doing this. And it's too easy to do, like, oh man, I sewed the 12-month to the 9-month size on this piece. I don't want that to happen. So Shane already started hearing me. He's like, I've heard enough about farmers markets. We're done. So I want to do cutout of all one size. I want to do sewing of all one size. So I want everything to go into a box. And then when I go to sew, I'm picking up just that box and I'm going over and sewing just that box. And then I make them, they go back into that box and the lid goes back on. It's too easy to get yourself screwed up. And so then when I'm done sewing, I want to make sure I put the tags on them immediately again, so that I've done this too many times where I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget because I'm going to put this size here and this size here. And then as I get going, I'm like, oh crap, what size did I have where? And they're so close that even if you take the pattern and put it up there, you're like, oh boy, it's one size different and I cannot tell which one it is, because one of them, or you accidentally got like one size here and here. And so then you're like, oh boy, and you have to do it. So you don't want to do that. Have a system and stay to that system. So that's what I'm doing when I cut all these out. That way I know I can just sit down and go and get all my sizes on everything, all completely done, cut them all out, put it away. I'll even do, like other items in that same size range and put in that box. And then that way, all that size range goes there. And then, if I start putting outfits together and twofers, then I've also got all the sizes the same. Now, granted, sometimes somebody's going to buy one size in a top and one size in a bottom different. And that's okay. No big deal. But we can swap that out at the sale. I want everything together till I get there. And then what happens after that is fine. We can deal with it at that point. Oh, thanks, Faye. Yeah, Faye, you missed it. I'm gonna do, I don't know if I'll do a live from there, but I'll do videos. It just depends on how crazy busy it is. I might be able to do a real quick live, but we'll see. But I'll definitely do video and might just take segments of the video and then put it all completely together. And that way you guys can kind of see setup and, unload, setup, the whole bit. And it's just kind of a, so that might be kind of fun too. But I've been talking too much, Faye. It's taking me way too long to get all these little, I've got 4 pieces because it's about these 4 pieces per size. And I'm still working on that. And we're 2 hours in. Oh, help me, help me. I am so bad. All right, I need to put away, though, what I do have. 2, 2, 3. All right, so 1, 5. 20, 69, 69. Okay, that's done. And I still have to print one more, so I'm missing one size. It's August 14th is that day, and then there's one day a month. I think it's 14th. It's a Saturday, whatever Saturday is that weekend. And then September is kind of around that same time too. They don't let me book September. I would have to pay like an extra $10 just to book it now. But it kind of seems like from the way they talked, once you've been accepted, you're able to get in again to the next one if you want. So I'm hoping to do August, September, October, November, December. I'm assuming we will have January. So if it's a good one, I'm just going to stay in it, and just that's my place to find me. So it doesn't hurt to have one location where people can always know they'll find you at. That way, if somebody goes and everybody's like, oh my gosh, where can I get that? And they'll be like, oh yeah, they're at this market. You can always go to this market and get them. So that's kind of my hope. And the price was really good. Really, really, really good. So I'm hoping it's a good one. We'll see. We'll see. So I've got just a month to get ready. And my brain has it all figured out. I've been not sleeping since then very well because of my brain won't stop. But it's all good. It's all good. Sorry, this one takes a little bit more concentration. There's some curves to it. But my brain's also going down the road planning for September and October, then November and December. And so I've already kind of got a few things that I was like, okay, I could put that on the list, but I'm saving that one because of this for this time, because of the holiday or whatever. So, they're doing a back to school drive on this one too. So that's huge as well. They've got a lot of activities on this one. I mean, it took me forever to read through after I filled out the application. Then they had, oh man, I scrolled down and had to say, understand. Some of it was legal, mumbo jumbo that you always have to agree to. And then other stuff was, I understand there's a scavenger hunt. I understand that there's live music. I understand that there's going to be, this, that, and the other there. I mean, they had a lot of stuff. And I was like, kept reading down and scrolling down. I was like, wow, I'm getting more and more excited the more I'm reading about it. And I was like, how did I miss this farmer's market? I've never been to this one. So I've never Googled farmers markets near me before and really made an effort to go see what was out there, which, it was the whole shutdown thing too, didn't help out any, but yeah. So I'm going to do this one first. And then if I end up staying at this one, if I choose to pick up a second one on, say, like an every other weekend kind of thing, if I feel like I can do that, or that's something that I really think will help push my business and I really can accommodate that, then I might try and find another one that's not, like in that area. It's maybe over here somewhere, and maybe that's that other one that I was like, maybe I do need to go to this one that's localer to me, but it's very crowded. That would be a possibility. I'd have to see though when that one falls, because that's just once a month as well, and it might be, is it once a month, every other week? I'd have to look. I can't remember. It might conflict. I don't know. I don't want them to be on a back-to-back if I ever do that. I do not want that. I would want it to be every other weekend. And that's a huge commitment if I start doing that. So I need to really evaluate my life at that moment to make sure I can accommodate that. But if it makes sense for my business, then accommodating it'll be a lot easier too. If I know that it's going to push something pretty quickly for me. Yeah, Sarah, it's hard to do when you have a baby. I've seen a lot of people that have little ones coming and doing it. I'm just like, oh, I don't know how you do that. And they hang in there and they do it. But oh my goodness, they've got the little one with them and they're trying to run a booth and take care of their baby. Oh my goodness, my heart goes out to them. I don't know how they're able to manage that. Just the loading and unloading itself with a kid would be rough to do by yourself. And there's some people that do it. Now, if they're a little older and they can help you carry stuff and all that, that's a little easier. I've seen some of those moms too, where they make it the family affair, as some of you girls are doing. And that's awesome. Those are some memories that you can't buy those. Those are amazing, amazing memories. Just like the craft shows I used to do with my sister. Those are some fantastic memories. We did those for 10 years together. It was so much fun. And then one of her friends was always in the booth with us, and we would get a double booth for the three of us, and we each had separate areas. I was always on this end, my sister was always in the middle, and the other lady was on the other end, and we all had completely different things, but we were always together. And everybody would come around that over the years knew all of us and would come and find us because maybe they wanted something from this person this time, and next time they're like, okay, I know you have this and I know you've got that, but I need what you've got this time. Yeah. So it really worked out really well. It was good. And then the booth wasn't quite as expensive. We helped each other set up, helped each other tear down. Was always there to, if somebody forgot something, then somebody could run. Literally, you need more cash. Okay, I'm gonna, give me what you guys need. I'm gonna run and go grab some ones from down the street, or run over to the grocery store and get some ones, or whatever we needed. That was back before taking credit cards was really easy to do, and most people paid with cash or a check. So we always had to have a ton of cash, and we would always run out because customers don't understand. You don't give somebody a $50 bill at a craft show for a $5 item and expect them to make change. That was probably the quickest way to piss off a vendor. And you're the first one in the door too. Oh, all I've got's a 50 or 100. Can you break that? Really? Now you've just wiped out my whole cash till. Thanks. Thankfully those days really are gone. But yeah, that helped us on those days. Or if somebody wanted lunch and we didn't want to eat what was there, we could run and grab lunch. It was so nice. But I'm kind of excited that these are coming back now. This is a real good avenue to get your name out there, to, test some new products. It's a good way to find out. And I'm going to tell you too, guys, what sells really good online may not sell at your craft shows and your farmers markets, and vice versa. So don't always put a lot of stock in the fact that, oh man, I've got a bunch of this, but it doesn't sell online, so I'm not going to take it. And then the other thing that always made us laugh, we would make something and it was the thing of the year, the trend of the year. We wouldn't sell one item of it, or we'd maybe sell one or two, and you'd put a whole bunch of them together. And we had to take them to the shows to sell them because you had your money and your time into it. So we'd put them out at the next show and put them out at the next show and kind of try and revamp them a little bit. So if the same customer's coming by, they're not seeing the same inventory, change it up a little bit. I kid you not, 2-3 years later, we're putting it back out, sold completely, all of them. And then people are like, I was just here and that's gone. You gonna have any more of that? And me and my sister are looking at each other going, every time. Nope, no more, not making no more, done. And you just also desperately want to look at them and go, I haven't sold that thing for years. I'm not making any more. And now it's sold out and I'm glad. I don't want to look at it again, but it's hilarious and you just can't predict it. So just because it doesn't sell this time or next time, you might sell the heck out of it a couple shows later. You just never know. Different things sell better, yes. And it's also different crowds, different location, different everything. So you do your best. You just do your best to predict it and just stay true to your customer, stay true to yourself, stay true to your brand. That's all you can do. And just realize if it doesn't sell now, doesn't mean it's a dud. Absolutely does not mean anything like that. It just means maybe not this year. Hey, Marisol. So yeah, don't get down on yourself on stuff like that because I guarantee you'll sell it. It just may not be for a little while, and then when you least expect it, they're gone. And don't necessarily start lowering prices either. Again, back to the price thing. Be true to yourself, be true to your price, be true to your customer. I'm in that curve one again. Sorry, guys, just a second. Not that it probably really matters. The difference from one line to the next is like so tiny. They're practically on top of each other. So I'm sure if I'm off by a line or two, it's not like it's going to affect the size. So I try and get in the ballpark on this. All right, I'm not going to worry about the next one. I'm going to start cutting fabric. I have got to, though, figure out what I'm going to do for my sizing. Where am I going to put stuff first? What I was just telling you about, my method to my madness, I've got to have that figured out right now when I start cutting. So, remember these little baskets? This will be perfect for the moment. So I can cut and put a full size in here, but I want to also put a label on here as to what size I'm cutting so I don't forget before I start doing it. If I have any masking tape just sitting around. Or a sticker that I can write on. Yeah, right back. Hey, Bear. What you doing, buddy boy? What you doing, baby? Okay, this will work. Just a piece of paper. Oh, and then the other thing that I started looking at this morning too, and it's up to you on how you want to handle this, but my bags that I'm going to be sending the product out in. I started thinking about that this morning. That is also an opportunity to get your name in front of a lot of people as they're walking around. So I think what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to go to the white and I'm going to get white bags and I'm going to print out my sticker and I'm going to make sure it's, you know, a 2x4 minimum sticker. I don't know, maybe I'll sublimate the bags. I haven't decided yet. If I want it bigger, I'll have to sublimate the bags. But print out my sticker and put it on the bag and then make sure I have lots of tissue paper as well to wrap the items in. I mean, presentation is everything, guys. It's everything. And they're going to remember every little thing about your booth, good or bad. So when somebody buys something, I want to make sure I have tissue paper right there to wrap the item in so it stays nice. And it goes in that specific bag that has my logo on it. And then there might be, I might also put a sticker that says thank you for shopping small or something on there that also has like my, this is the sticker I've got that has my branding and my website address. So I just did this in Canva and it's a round sticker. And it just says thank you for shopping small and it has my website address on there. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to incorporate these as well or if it's just going to be just the logo on the outside of my bag. But always go that extra step. It doesn't have to cost a lot. Just remember presentation, presentation, presentation. So yeah, got all that written down, all that researched. For online pricing, I'm going to go check a couple of places locally to see if I can't get some of that stuff right here so I can decide how many I want to get. Because if I order online, then I kind of have to decide, and I'm going to always buy extra where if I buy it locally and then I decide at the last minute I want to throw in some more, I can still run down and get some, where I may not decide to do that. So yeah, I don't know yet. I'm hoping I can get most of this local. Tissue paper is really hard for me to get here. It's sold out a lot. So I may order that online. That's minimal. I'm not worried about that so much. But like the bags and stuff, I think I can get that locally. And that would be nice to really do. So we'll see. Okay, so this will at least get me through now. 9 to 12 month is where I'm starting. And then I got some actual bins over here. I just have stuff in it right now. And I can't just go dump. I want to make sure I put it on the shelves. I've got room on my shelves. I just want to put it away. Because if I dump, then it's a mess that will never get cleaned up. So I will transfer this into that along with my sticker. I can at least get started here. And I have somewhat of an organization going on. Fair. What you doing, bud? So then you just have to kind of decide how many of each size do you really want to carry. I'm okay with cutting more than less because then I have backup for the next one if it doesn't sell in a certain size, or if I sell it online, then it's already done. I just package it up and ship it out. So it's all good. And then if I decide I get to a PC amount later on down the road, then it hits the sample sale. So either way, I'm not too worried about it. I want to make sure I have enough of each size, but you have to decide. I have not, Shayna. I just got my sublimation printer like 2 hours ago. It arrived. My ink comes tomorrow. I've got the paper, everything now. So I haven't yet. That'll be this week. So yeah, I'll be doing a lot of my my stickers and my labels. That's kind of where I'm starting. And so yeah, that's kind of, I got it just for that mainly, and then I'll use it for other things. I know I will. But that was my main purpose. I started looking at how much it was going to cost me to get that, the ink, the paper, and everything I'm going to put it on. And for everything that I was going to use it for, if I went to buy it, I probably would have spent more to go buy it already made for me than if I did it. And there's nothing wrong with me doing that. I don't mind supporting other people, but I know myself when it comes to my tagging, I change my mind a lot as I'm doing something. So I hate to order a bulk amount of something, because if I'll make a couple and then try it. And if I don't like how it's going, then I'm going to go change it up. And where if I bought a large amount of it, I can't do that and I got to use it up. And I'm already kind of there with my business cards. I've got a lot of my business cards that I did with my old logo, and I'll still use them, but I've got a lot and I have to use them up. So I've learned it's just better for me to do that. Plus then I can use it for my other business too. And it just kind of made a whole lot of business sense. So yeah, but I did buy the A sub paper, Shayna, for now. I bought the Cosmos ink, and he really recommended the Craft and Besties paper for their ink, but Craft and Besties was, their website was shut down for inventory and I couldn't get any. So I thought, well, I can go back and buy that later. So I just grabbed some A sub paper for right now because I knew that would be okay. But I do want to try the Craft and Besties just because he said the Cosmos ink works really, really, really well with that. So I want to test both, and it may not matter, but I do want to test both. I'm fussy about color and about it being very saturated. I noticed that immediately. So I'm going to test both of those and see if there is a difference or not. If there isn't, then I'm going to go off a price point. But also Craft and Besties is a Texas company, and I wouldn't mind supporting a Texas company. So I got the 125. And that was the other thing. I was reading both of them, and I'm like, okay, I read the reviews. I see a lot of people like this one, a lot of people like that one, and I see why they like this one over that one, but it was kind of a toss-up, so I just went with the 125 because they said that one tends to be a little more vibrant. And I was like, you're talking to me, okay. I don't know why I'm fighting with this as much. Okay. It just keeps wrapping itself the wrong way. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Okay. I folded it wrong. That's why I'm fighting with it. There we go. So yeah, I don't know if I'll do a tutorial on that or not. I haven't decided. There's so many of those out there. I don't know that it's really necessary. You can Google it like I did, and there's a whole bunch of them. So, and I just went to the Cosmos Inc. website. Their tutorial was amazing, absolutely amazing, hands down. I mean, this guy gave you settings. They send you their color profile. He tells you how to install all those, how to make it work with certain programs. I mean, he's really on point. So yeah, Marissa, I'll see. I mean, I might change it up, but right now we'll see. It doesn't matter. Everybody has their preferences. So you don't need to you don't need to worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. We all just kind of grab whatever based on whatever. Oh, real quiet. Okay, we turn it on. All right. Cool. All right, I'm gonna have to, every time I do this, I swear, I tell myself, when are you gonna get the stuff to put on your ruler so your ruler quits moving? And it always moves in the right direction so I can fix it. It doesn't matter, but I've been saying this for, I swear, at least a year. Do you think I can remember to do it? No. The thing I need to do is change my blade. this. You can really tell on some of these knits when my blade is not as sharp as it should be. It wants to move the fabric more than it should. And it always seems like it takes me cutting out a few before I get into a rhythm, and then things move a whole lot faster. So the first couple always tend to be a little bit slower for me. And it starts making some sense, and I get going. Like I need to probably put a chair over here to hold my fabric because it's so long. Really should also iron this because it wants to roll on me. Some of those knits though are tricky. You guys know that. You work with them as much as I do. Get what I'm saying? If it can roll, it will. So I started doing a few deliveries from Imperfect Foods. I don't know if any of you guys have done that one. And you got to know your prices on stuff. If you know your prices on stuff, and I just pull up my local grocery store app and check prices if I'm not real sure, but I'm getting some really good deals on there for some stuff. It's amazing. And I'm lazy, very lazy when it comes to shopping. I do not want to go and wander through a grocery store. And I always find out too, when I go to the grocery store, I swear when I wander, I don't feel like I can think of a menu. I'm not one to plan ahead of time because I can't think of anything. I could sit down and try and plan out a week and I'd come up with about 2 days worth, and then my brain would be blank. But I'm finding with this Imperfect Food, since I've got like 2 days from the window opens and you got 2 days to add to your cart and take out of your cart and do whatever you want, and then it closes, and it's literally 48 exact hours. I'm finding out that I'm thinking a whole lot better because they kind of pre-fill your cart for you, and then you can go take out and tell them, no, don't ever put that in there again, or you just take it out. And things change seasonally or by what they were able to get a deal on, or however their buying works. And so you can scroll through and see one time they'll have this, next time they won't have it, or the next time they'll have this and they didn't the time before. So I'm going to be eating a lot more produce than I probably do just by going to the grocery store. They also sell other things too besides produce. They have meat, they have health and beauty, they have snacks, almond butter, yogurts, cheeses, things like that. So you can, get a whole bunch of stuff if you want. You can go once a week, once every other week. I go once every other week because when you're single, you don't eat as much as if you have a family. So I find to get the free delivery, to hit that price point, it lasts me like 2 weeks. So I just do the every other week, and I'm kind of stoked that they bring it and drop it off at my door, and it's not costed me any more than if I go to the store and do it myself. Plus, I think I'm going to probably eat better because I have a little more time to actually think things out. And so when I know my cart's coming and I've got certain things in it, it also helps me to decide, oh, I didn't think about this recipe, and that recipe has some of that stuff in there that I'm getting. So then I think it's going to actually be better for me. I was wondering how I was going to get around this. Quit eating the same thing every day, every week, because you can't think of anything else, or you don't want to cook or whatever. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked so far. And no, I'm not getting paid to say anything or promote it. So no, there's no affiliation going on there. So these knits are not going to be as fussy as this little koala guy is. It's kind of fussy. Hey Mina, how are you? Yeah, it's quiet in here today. I don't have any of the machines on or anything going. Just now noticing that how quiet it is. I can hear the fan on the computer running pretty good. I hope that's not too loud. Now somebody said something last time, and I went back and listened, and I guess I didn't hear it, so I don't know if I just missed the noise or it was louder for them than what I could hear. So I just now realized that. Sorry if it was bothering you guys. That was too close. So did everybody have a good weekend? What did you guys do? Anything fun? I can't believe again it's Sunday. Don't I say that every time? I'm like, and it's Sunday again, and I can't believe we're here. Let's see. I just want to watch what I'm doing a little bit here. Keep hearing vehicle noises outside, and I don't live on a street where there's a lot of vehicles, so if somebody's on my street, they're here for a reason. So whenever we hear vehicles, me and the neighbor always are checking to make sure everything's all cool. I'm real fussy, sorry about cutting fabric. I try and not waste any of it if I can help it. But I also get a little too anal about it. Sometimes I'm like, okay, stop it. You're spending more time moving things around than it's worth. So. Awesome, Sarah. That's always fun. I'm still waiting for my plates. Texas is so slow because everybody's buying cars, I guess. That's what I'm hearing. So in Texas, I'm not used to the way it is down here because back home, like you, Sarah, you have to literally go and register your car yourself. So you go to the DMV after you buy a car and you have however long your area says you have to do it. Well, down here, when you buy the car, you pay for all of that at the dealership. And the dealership sends all that in. The The plates get sent to the dealership, and then they call you when the plates come in, and then you go in there and pick them up. Well, there's so many people down here buying cars right now. My plates, well, my paper tags, so my temporary tags were supposed to be, done on June 11th. It is now July 18th, and I still don't have my plates. Thankfully, also down here, since that's the way they do it, you can't get pulled over for that. At home, you can get pulled over for it because you are the one that has to go take care of that. And you get a ticket for it. Well, down here you don't, because they know if you don't have your plates, it's because the DMV is running behind. And I hear that they're running like 2 to 3 months behind because there's so many people buying cars. So I'm like, oh goodness, I just want my plates already. Yeah, Angela, it is really cute, isn't it? It makes the cutest little bunnies. These are the bunnies I made out of it way back when. So sweet. I just love them. And then I also made, when we did the tunic dress so long, I made the tunic dress out of it as well. And that was super sweet. So just the little simple tunic dress. There was a sew along for this as well. So if anybody didn't see that, the pattern and everything is over on that. Super easy. Just 2 seams. Oh, I'm sorry. 4 seams. 2 here, 1 on each side, and then you just hem them. Super, super easy. So yeah, that's also one of the dresses I'll be making for the craft fair, because I can keep the price point really inexpensive on that because there's like no work to it. It's like the bummies. It takes as long to make that as it takes to make a bummy. So, and those are so easy. Those can be dresses when they're little and tops as they grow. So it's one of those, you get a lot of bang for the buck as a parent. Oh yeah, Sarah. Yeah, I'm sure you did. So yeah, I'm kind of glad though that I don't have to deal with it, because it's one less thing I have to go stand in line for. And you pay them all the fees, and they take care of getting it, filed and all that. I'm like, oh boy, yeah, I'm all over that. You guys want to do that for me? I'm on board. It doesn't cost any extra, so it's just the way the state wants to handle it. Actually, some of these smaller pieces, if you guys like using these rulers to cut along, I always have this triangle one from my quilting. I love actually using this one a lot because it's smaller for some of these kids stuff. And the square one is nice, but it's just smaller in every direction. And so it's sometimes easier and faster to use as my straight edge. Yeah, I need to change that blade. And I'm not one that cuts fast anyway. I always like to make sure I've screwed up too many patterns just by trying to cut too fast and having to slice something that you weren't meaning to slice. I just take my time. I can make up the time in the sewing. Oh, thanks, Pia. Oh my goodness, Sarah, it lasted you a long time. That's good. But yeah, I'm sure you're ready for something that's not necessarily new, but newer, and maybe something that doesn't need quite as much repair anymore. So yeah, that's kind of where I was at. Mine was laughing at me because it was like, one of these days I'm gonna leave you on the side of the road and you're not gonna be happy about it, and it could be tomorrow. And I'm like, I know. So I had to. I just had to. I didn't want to, but I had to. I'm not one of those that likes to trade my car often. It's just not a thing. And it was so sad. The poor guy that sold me the car, the dealership, because I bought a used car. And it wasn't, super old, but I did buy a used car, and the poor salesman, I'm sure he's so used to people that are just like, yes, I got a new car. I can't wait to go here, go there, go show this person, go show that person. And he was like, so aren't you excited? You got a new car? And I was like, yeah, no big deal. Because that's just not my, that's not my hot button. It was almost like when I responded to, I was trying to be excited, but I was like, yeah, it's okay, I'm just, it's all right. I'm excited, but now if you're telling me I was getting a new sewing machine, I'd probably be like dancing in the streets. And he's just looking at me like, oh, what's wrong with you? You're not excited about a new car? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Don't get me wrong, I am. But if my other one would have been going for another couple of years, I would have been perfectly fine with that too. The fact that I have to spend money right now, when I could be spending money on a sewing machine instead, something that's fun, but I got to spend money on a car. Poor guy. And he was just kind of deflated when I said, yeah, it's okay. It's a new car. Yeah, it's all right. But I didn't tell him anything about the sewing machines. I knew he wouldn't get it, but I knew you girls would understand. Yeah, because I'm thinking what I spent on this car, I could buy how many multi-needles, It's like crazy. I guarantee when I really get crazy about cutting these out, I'll just put on some TV show or something and totally zone out and just zip these out. I really just have to get into a zoning mood to make things move fast. Yeah, I usually go to Dollar Tree, Diane. Down here, though, man, the white tissue paper sells out so fast. Those guys, no matter where I go, they'll get a shipment in and it's gone. And I can usually get it up the street from me at the Dollar General. They had 0 the other day when I was in, and usually when I buy one, there's only 1 or 2 left. They didn't have any. They were just completely wiped out. It wasn't even just the white. They were wiped out of the bags. They were wiped out of everything. So graduations, birthdays, I'm sure everything was kind of hitting them hard right now. Just gotta remember on that. That's the other thing. When I'm talking, I tend to forget what I've cut and what I haven't cut. some of these little pieces too, don't throw them away. So a lot of these you can incorporate either into your embroidery or into quilts or whatever. Granted, this is a big piece you wouldn't throw away, but some of these littler pieces, you'd be surprised at how small of a piece you can use for your embroidery. So I always hang on to this stuff for that. And then you may have to do like little bins that are color coordinated, like you've got blues in this, yellows in that, so that when you go to do stuff, you can just grab accordingly. That's the other thing I kind of want to do at some of these shows is just do a bunch of things without having to make sure I've got a lot of fabric if somebody orders it or whatever. I'm just going to try and use up some of my scraps, and I'm going to use these as scrap buster things. So I'll make a bunch of like embroidered pieces that maybe it'll have the same logo on it, but maybe the piece that's here might be this fabric and it's going to be the same color, but it may not be the same fabric from each one to each other's, because when you're online you have to keep it exactly the same. So that way I can kind of use up my stash a little too, because it's getting pretty plentiful and I need to start knocking some of that down. Crazy how quickly it gets out of control. This rolling is driving me crazy on this knit. I'm sure you can see how bad it's rolling. Look at that. I really just need to iron it. I don't want to take the time right now and walk away to iron. So I'm just going to deal with it on this piece. Especially since it's rolling, I don't want to deal with this pattern piece either. So that's how you do that. You just kind of mark some points and know where you've got to cut from and to, because it's all straight lines. It's a little easier to deal with instead of having to fight something else as well. And then this is that disappearing ink, and it doesn't take water, it's air. That thing is worth its weight in gold. Oh, yeah, I need one of those. I always forget on this cuff I haven't cut two. Even though it says cut two right there, right in front of my face. And I cut one, and for the last one, and I was cutting one for this one. I'm like, wait a minute, this is that cut two. Kind of excited I took part in this next week and weekend off. I was going to try and go do something with my girlfriend, and I didn't know she was going to be out of town, and then she was like, no, I'm going here because of this, and I'm going to be out of town. I'm like, no way. Well, then this came through, so I'm like, I'm okay with it. I'll, just kind of I wanted to go to a couple of places locally that I just don't seem to have time to go do, like a coffee shop that I've never been to that I want to go and have some coffee at in the morning and just enjoy some of the stuff around here that I haven't done for a little while. And then I'll also get to prep for the show. So I think it's going to be a really good weekend. Long weekend. I took Thursday, Friday, and Monday off, so I'm kind of stoked. I really haven't had any time off this year yet, so time to start taking advantage of it. All right, guys, I need to go do a little yard work before it gets dark out too. I just realized it's 7 o'clock my time and it gets dark at 8:30, and I have to weed whack. It's been raining so much. It's getting to be a jungle out there, and I gotta take an opportunity when it's not raining because it rains. This last 2 weeks, it's kind of weird. We don't normally get rain like this, and it's been a blessing. But every day I get up, and it was just like we're down in the Caribbean where it's kind of cloudy and overcast, and then a storm, a big thunderstorm will roll in about midday, noonish, 2ish, kaboom, drop down about a half an inch of rain, move on, and then it's sunny the rest of the day. Well, it's just enough rain. You really can't go do yard work because it's all soggy, and then the next day it does it, the next day it does it. So it's been a real blessing. So everything's really lush down here, and we're in a desert climate, so it's not supposed to be like that right now. It's supposed to be super dry. So I'm like, oh, I've got weeds out there that are, and I just got to get out there and do it before, if it starts doing this again. It looks like it's going to be dry this week, but I don't know. That could change. They've been saying that for the last 2 weeks it was going to be dry, and then we got these storms coming through every day. And we're heading into tropical season too, so we're going to be getting a little bit more rain here and there. But yeah, I might do a few more lives as I'm getting ready. You know, might do these a little more frequently since I'm just going to be sitting around going crazy doing this and sewing and all that good stuff. So maybe we can hang out a little more often here in the next month or so while we get ready. And of course, then it's going to probably be an ongoing thing from here on out. So yeah, but might be a little more impromptu at times, but it's definitely gonna be every Sunday, late afternoon, evening, depending upon how my day's going, for sure. I just was ready today, so I'm like, I'm just going on. I was thinking, oh, I could schedule it, and I was like, no, I'm ready. Let's just go on. You guys will catch up with me. So, and sometimes earlier is good because then other people could catch in. Like Jacqueline never gets to join us; she's in France, so she got to join us today. So that was a nice little surprise. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. I will definitely be back on here sooner than later, and I still have a quilt along that I owe you guys so we can finish up that quilt. And I haven't gotten you. I'm hoping this week I got that on my schedule to get my quilt ready for that. And we'll do that here in this next week, hopefully. And I will see you guys real soon. Thanks for joining me. You have a good rest of your evening. Love you. Bye.